Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Jack Bishop of GabNet's The Intersect, Tuesdays through Fridays at midnight Eastern Time. It's everything from what's going on with the new royal couple to what's happening with that grumpy old man in the Oval Office. Movies, music, old TV shows, you name it. From thoughtful discussions to out-and-out fights like my grandma would referee between my uncles. So from mild to wild, join me, Jack Bishop, Tuesdays to Fridays at midnight for The Intersection on GabNet Live. It's talk like you never heard it.
Hi everybody, this is Alex Bennett, and I've had a long and interesting trip. It's called life. And for years, people have demanded that I write a book about it, and while I've been a writer, my main talent has always been that of a broadcaster. Over a year ago, I decided not to write the book, but using my best skill, I decided to tell it. It's called Life in the Passing Lane, and I described it as an audio biography. It's presented in 30-minute chapters, so it's easy to binge listen. And you can access it on the GabNet page by clicking on Life in the Passing Lane and going to a page with every single episode, plus some extras. If you want to access it on your mobile device, that's easy too. It's on iTunes. It's Life in the Passing Lane, an audio biography by me. I'm Alex Bennett.
Evolution is defined as any process of formation or growth, development, the evolution of a radio program right before your ears. Welcome into The Exchange. It's Rob Alfano, and it's a Wednesday night, a special night, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. You're going to give us a call on Skype in a little while.
I'm Jim Browning. You're listening to The Exchange. Well, our long national nightmare just may be over. It seems that we are ready to say goodbye to reality television.
Good evening and hello, everybody. Welcome to The Exchange, your safe haven for the free and open exchange of ideas and opinions here on the Great American Broadcast Network every Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 Eastern, 6:30 to 7 Western. I'm your host and broker, Damian Chaplin. If you'd like to join the conversation tonight, go ahead and give us a call on Skype. I'm opening the lines right now.
The Exchange, one program, ever evolving. Be a part of evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 p.m., Damian Chaplin moves you in new directions. Call GabNet Live on Skype at 347-352-0079. The Exchange, the evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, only on GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before is now talk like you've never seen it before. Alex Bennett's Ramble is now in video. Log on to Alex's Facebook page at facebook.com/abennett every Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and experience the Citizen Panel like never before. We put a face to people like Phil, Patrick, Renee, Kevin, Tony, Jeff, Bree, Brian, and all of our regulars. And Alex is there too in his PJs. Just be glad he isn't naked. You can be one of those people who gets seen and not just heard by calling into Skype. For more information on how to Skype us, just go to gabnet.net. You can dress any way you want, provided it's decent. GabNet is now not just talk and not just a pretty face. So why don't you add yours? Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey everybody, it's Alex Bennett. It is the Ramble, our little talkathon that goes on until midnight Eastern Time in the United States of America. If it's not that time in America, then you're probably listening to this as one of our 24/7 feeds, and it is pre-recorded. But otherwise, if you're listening to it right now at 6 minutes past 10 o'clock Eastern Time, that means that we are live. And since we're live, we may as well talk to an old friend. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Larry Bubbles Brown, and yes, I have to tell you ahead of time, he's a comic. The reason I have to tell you ahead of time is so that you will know, because he really doesn't come on and do bits, you know?
They just lull the crowd to sleep, so it's hard to believe I'm actually a comic.
You were one of those comics I loved on my show because you never did do bits. You know, you never did do your act when you came on.
Yeah, I tried not to. Some comics did. It always seemed, when you do that, it seems a little forced, you know.
Well, it's kind of like I would say something, and all of a sudden the comic would then burst into something from his act that had nothing to do with what I just said.
Exactly.
You know, and I would sometimes sit down with the comics after the show who did that and say, you don't have to do your act. Just be yourself and be funny. You know, be fun.
Yeah,
be fun.
And it was easy because your show is very conversational, whereas most of the shows were just like a morning zoo, just set you up for a bit, yeah. And it's just...
Well, years earlier, I had seen an interview with Steve Allen. A person I didn't really respect that much, but, you know, nevertheless, he knew what he was doing. And he had two pieces of advice. And first piece of advice was, the job is not to be funny. The job is to be fun. You can't be funny all the time, but you can be fun all the time. And he said, that's the object, be fun. And that's what I tried to impart to these comedians. When you come on my show, don't try to be funny, just be fun. You know. The other piece of advice he had was, if you have a guest on, let them go to work. Let them shine. You know, because that's why you invited them on the show. You're going to be there tomorrow. They're not. You know. So you didn't bring them on because you wanted them to be something for your talent to shine. You want their talent to shine. So showcase them, and don't try to top the comic.
And I think that's what Johnny Carson was great at, but some of the other people that had the Tonight Show would actually try to top the comic.
Well,
Carson would just sit back and let him go, you know.
The problem with the Jay Leno as the host of the Tonight Show, and I always said this, and this is why I never really liked him as a host of the Tonight Show. And by the way, I consider Leno one of the greatest comics of all time. As a stand-up, he was empirical, you know?
He was, yeah.
I mean, I remember Feldman and I going to see him at the Stanford University, and the guy did 2 hours. 2 hours. And we were just aghast at his virtuosity. And the fact that he started off every show with about 20 minutes of material that was topical. And then he would just go into his regular act. But then you thought the whole act was fresh. You know, I mean, he was just masterful at what he did. But when he went and did the Tonight Show, I said, wrong. And people said, why? I said, you don't want a comic hosting a talk show with other comics. Because they're always going to try to top the comic.
Right.
And that isn't the job of the host. The host is to make the guest shine. And that was, I think, Jay Leno's biggest problem. Was he, you know, he wanted to get the laugh, you know, so.
Yeah, not a good choice.
Not a good choice. Not a good choice. But, you know, he did very well, and he did better than Letterman, you know. But then again, there's no accounting for America's taste.
Remember, we thought Pat Sajak was going to be a great talk show host, and he didn't quite make it, although I liked him.
I'll tell you, I thought Pat Sajak would be terrific because I had him on my radio show, And he had a quality, a very naturally fun quality about him that I thought would be a good. When I heard he was going to get a talk show, I said, very good choice. Okay. Then he went on, and what I liked about him was he was edgy. He had an edge to his humor, but then he got the show. He got the Late Show. This was the one before Letterman.
Right.
That did it, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk. This guy is going to finally, take Carson, at least give Carson a run for his money. Because he had a very Jack Parr quality to him. Mm-hmm. That's what I saw in him. And he came on and he did this show, and he played it so safe that it was terrible. It was just terrible. He was afraid to put that edge into it. And if he'd put that edge into it, he would have given Johnny a run for his money because he had the chops. So,
yeah.
And I know people find that hard to understand because it's Pat Sajak, and you go, you mean Wheel of Fortune? But I mean, when he was a guest on my show, he had a real edge. He came on with Vanna, and they were both kind of edgy, to tell you the damn truth.
She was, wow.
Yeah. But I mean, he's done okay for himself. He's had how many years with Wheel of Fortune, and I guess he makes a fortune doing that.
He's got to be worth a fortune, yeah.
Yeah. So, he's had a good career. But, in fact, I think didn't he leave Wheel of Fortune when he went to do the talk show? And then he came back to it?
I think he did for a while, yeah.
Yeah, and then
the talk show lasted maybe a little over a year.
Maybe not even that. But people go, Pat Sajak had a late-night talk show? Yeah. He was the CBS guy before they finally came. Then they went back to, I think, showing movies in late night. It was Crime Time after Prime Time, I think. They ran all their TV shows of mysteries.
I think, they were running shows like Wise Guy and like repeats of that.
And then the Letterman thing came along. And there was enough space between the two events that Letterman never had to live up to some kind of standard. He could just walk in and do what he wanted to do. And Letterman was incredibly successful. I mean, this, of course, was after Leno had taken over The Tonight Show, and he went in the first year or so that he was on. When I think you were on with him, he was number one in late night.
Yeah.
But I got to hand it to Dave. Dave always had a great sense of humor. When Leno finally regained number one, which, do you remember how he regained number one?
Was the interview with Hugh Grant.
That's right. Hugh Grant had been blown by a hooker on, I don't know, the main drag in Hollywood. And, in fact, I interviewed her. Her name was Divine Brown. I remember that.
Divine Brown, yeah.
I interviewed her, and she said, you know why he got caught? And I said, no, why? He said, while I was blowing him, he was reacting to me blowing him by tapping his foot on the brake pedal. And so the lights, the brake lights were flashing. And the cops saw that and said, what's going on with that car? And they went over, and there I was blowing him. But anyway, it was a big deal, that Hugh Grant had done this. And I guess because, number one, his show was out of Hollywood and he had access to actors, Hugh Grant agreed to come on the show and do his big mea culpa. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, stupid of me, blah, blah, blah. And that show got huge ratings. And from that day on, Leno was number one. And remained number one until the very end. Well, what Letterman did is Leno always was an asshole where it came to Dave, okay? And he was always trying to top Dave. And Dave and he used to be big friends. I mean, you got to remember one of the big guests that Letterman used to have on his Late Show was, in fact, Jay Leno. And But it had gotten to the point where they were really antagonistic towards each other, and Dave disliked Jay because Jay was always going, "Why can't we all get along? Isn't there enough room for everybody?" You know, and Jay, in his boasting, took out a billboard in Times Square that you could see from the Letterman Theater that read, "Jay Leno, #1 in prime time."
Wow.
So Dave immediately bought a giant billboard across the street from the Ed Sullivan Theater, and on it read, "David Letterman, #2 in prime time." Yeah. That was not a happy thing that went on there, Leno and Letterman. Although they did wind up doing a commercial for the Super Bowl together. Do you remember that?
With Oprah.
Yeah, with Oprah.
Yeah.
And it was like Letterman on one side and Leno on the other side, and Leno's saying things like, "Why can't we all get along?" And Letterman is like mocking him, "Why can't we all get along?" You know. And Oprah's in the middle going, "Come on, boys, you two should get along." And that was the first time they had actually been in the same room together in years.
Mm-hmm.
And these were guys, I think they used to play, what's her name, Mitzi's place down in L.A. together. You know.
I heard they were close friends like in the 70s, and I thought, I could be wrong, but I thought they were both staff writers for Good Times.
I know that Letterman was a staff writer on the Mary Tyler Moore Variety Hour. That I do know. I don't know if he wrote for Good Times, though. That I don't know.
We'll look that up.
Yeah. But he used to write material for, what's his name, from Good Times.
Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker. He used to write for Jimmy Walker. Yeah. That's why, to the end, he would always have Jimmy Walker on once a year as a guest.
Uh-huh.
In fact, he would have all his old friends on at least once a year.
Yeah, he had a little more loyalty than I think Jay did.
Yeah, yeah. So it was, it was quite a interesting time, those times. Anyway. So what's new in the life of Larry Bowles Brown? Now, how are we doing on technology?
It hasn't increased.
See, your reputation now is so based on the fact that you know nothing about technology that if you ever knew something about technology, you'd ruin a whole kind of mystique that you have.
Yeah, a few of the younger comics told me they thought I was really cool because I had a flip phone. They thought that they weren't laughing. That's kind of retro. It's kind of neat.
Well, the flip phone may be coming back. They still make them, but they may be coming back because they found a new way to make a foldable phone where the screen folds. So when you open it up, it's the size of what a normal phone is today, but you can fold it up.
Oh, okay.
So
maybe I'll go for that.
Maybe you might be thinking about that. Yeah, but then you have to learn things like, well, you know how to text, don't you?
I do know how to text.
Tell them how you text.
It's you got to hit that button 3 times sometimes to get that one letter. So literally, it takes longer to type hello than it does to say it. So
yeah. What I do, I don't even type into mine anymore. I just simply say all my stuff, and
you can just that's and that voice recognition is pretty good at not screwing words up.
Yep. It's better and better. Let me put it that way. And if it fucks up, I'm sending a text. And if it fucks up a little bit, so people understand what I'm trying to say, But I find that I can write a longer text faster just by talking into my phone, But you wouldn't know about that.
I wouldn't know, though I do know that Apple apparently lost quite a bit of their value in the past 5 months.
Well, that's because you never bought one of their phones.
I could have saved them.
And you don't have high-speed internet.
No, although that has driven me so crazy. I got to change that, and I'm looking.
Well, you
around
keep
again.
saying it, but you never do it.
I know.
You've got friends who work for those companies, and you don't do it.
Well,
Isn't it time that you did it?
it is time to do it. I can't open up anything.
Yeah.
It takes 5 minutes to open a page. You know?
How old are you now?
66.
66. Okay. Well, you could be dead before you ever do it.
That's true.
Yeah. Do you fear death?
Maybe I'm starting to welcome it. I told someone the other day, to me, winning the lottery would be getting a painless terminal disease at this point.
Oh, a painless terminal disease.
Painless terminal disease.
Is there such a thing?
There are a couple. Remember the old TV show Run for Your Life?
Yes.
With Ben Gazzara.
Oh, yeah,
he had painless terminal disease, and I looked it up. I forget what it's called, but there is a disease. The one he had that would be the one to get. He's got 2 years to live.
Is it really painless?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
You would think the act of dying is not necessarily. Well, maybe it is painless. Maybe when you're finally going to die. All right. That very act is probably maybe pleasurable, that it's just a wafting away. It's just, because I don't know. See, I'll tell you what I'm going through. Did I tell you my ex-wife, Ronnie, who you never knew.
I never met her.
No, because by the time I moved to California, I was divorced from her. Is dying of inoperable cancer. And so I've been kind of going through this with her. And for someone, me, who is so afraid of death, it's a kind of a weird, strange experience for me, And I hate to put it all on me since she's the one doing the dying, right? But
yeah.
It has only made me more depressed the rest of the time, about things like, oh, I'm going to get prostate cancer. This test's going to come back bad, that kind of thing. And I've always had this great fear of death. But, have you ever had a absolute fear? I have a morbid fear of death, if there is such a thing. I have a morbid fear of morbidity.
Well, you're in good company. Woody Allen's always had the morbid fear.
Didn't he say recently, though, he's kind of gotten over it?
I didn't see that. Maybe he has, but...
Yeah. I don't know. How old is he now? God, he's older than me, isn't he?
Woody was born in 35, so he'd be 83.
83. God, you can figure those things out really easy, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was born in 39, which you would then say, if you didn't know my birthday, that I was...
Be 79.
No, but you would say I was 80.
Yeah.
But because it was...
You were born the end of 39.
The end of the year. My age always ends with the same numerical number that the year does. In other words, I'm now 79. It's, and 19. The year ends in a 9.
Uh-huh.
So that's my that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But no, I've always had this morbid fear of morbidity, and
how is Ronnie taking this? Is she?
Well, it's not easy. She will on the show. I'm not going to reveal it now. Gone through some kind of little therapy that has helped her with it. But it's her feeling is, and it's a pretty positive one. People love to hear her talk about this because she really has some theories on it. She says, I know that I have basically a sell-by date, but I don't know how much of that I'm going to have, and so therefore I could live longer than that sell-by date, or I could live shorter than that sell-by date. She said, so really I'm still in the same situation I was when I didn't know I had a terminal disease. I don't know when I'm going to go. But it's, I mean, I always wish for people. My father always said to me, my father always was the man I went to for great wisdom. And his line was, I hope when I die I get hit by a Mack truck. That he didn't want to go from some lingering disease. And actually he lingered, but it was only a week. He got a pituitary tumor, which today is completely operable, but in those days it was a death sentence. And he went in about a week. But he said, I want a Mack truck to hit me. He said, I don't want to know what happened to me. Now I wonder if you know what happened to you. At some point, isn't your body still kind of sending signals to your brain going, well, you've just been completely demolished?
I think you'd have 3 seconds of at least sheer terror. Yes.
Well, they said that when they used to have like the beheadings in France, the guillotine, that the heads were still blinking their eyes after they were cut off.
Ugh.
So you're wondering how much of the brain was still saying, why am I seeing the sky all the time now? And there, I wish. Now you're not a religious guy, are you?
No.
I wouldn't.
Don't believe in fairy tales.
Yeah, you don't believe in fairy tales. Well, I don't either. And I think that the lucky people in this world are the people who have a good faith in God. So that when they look at death, they go, well, I'm going to meet Grandma, and I'm going to meet Grandpa, and I'm going to meet, that kind of thing that they, that they say. I mean, they don't have a fear of death because you're going to a better place. No, which is probably the reason religion was invented, because of that. Well, that, and because there were some people who wanted to make money off of people who had the fear of death. All religion is based on fear of death. It's what's going to happen to you when you die. It's not going to be, well, if you believe in God, things are going to be better for you now, because the people they preach it to don't have things very good right now. No. And they really think that when they go to their just reward in God's heaven, that's where they're going to be rich. That's why, do you ever notice cathedrals and wonder why they're so big and so impressive? Mm-hmm. It's because it was a place that poor people could come to, that was like a palace, that for at least one day a week they were welcomed into, and was their house of worship. And so it was really these churches, the way they were built and the way they looked, were a come-on, really, to people who didn't have anything. Boy, are we going to be loved by religious people right now.
Well, like you say, though, maybe if you were really religious and you truly believe that, maybe you would feel a lot better about it. People have said to me, what if there is a heaven, and you go to the pearly gates, and you didn't believe in God? And I said, well, if he's the God you profess that he is, he'll forgive me. Yeah. He'll forgive me. He'll let us in. He'll let us in, sure. So that's why I'll tell you why I've hated religion over the years, is that every time people go to war, they name God as the reason they're doing it. Let's fight for God and country. Right. And God is always the first thing they mention, not country. And I'm thinking, how many people have been killed because of religious differences? And is that healthy? I don't think so. I think that it's terrible. So, anyways, but you're not religious at all. You never. No. Were you brought up in any religion? Episcopal, which is kind of like Roman Catholic light, but no, it wasn't. I hear about those things like Episcopal and Presbyterian, and I go, what the fuck are those religions anyway?
You know.
Yeah, they were. The Episcopal, I think, was an offshoot with when Henry VIII broke off from the Catholic Church.
Oh, so it's really like the Church of England.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Well, anyway, that explains it. Fight with a religious fight.
But I think weren't most of the founding fathers atheists in this country?
They would be if they saw the president now. Anyway, we've run out of time, Larry.
It's just flown by.
It's flown by like it never happened. So let's pretend like it never did.
We got 2 in the can. We're off to a good start.
2 in the can. Thank you, Bubbles.
Thanks, Alex.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
I always love talking to Bubbles. I always say that every week. Love talking to the Bubs. The Brownster, the Larry Bubble Brown person that we talk to. Anyway, love talking to him. Okay, it's time now for me to turn on the Skype lines. I hate to even plug Skype. You know, I was talking yesterday. By the way, our lines are open, so you can call if you want to. The thing that was getting me yesterday about all this problem I was having with Skype is on top of everything. On top of everything. Okay. Skype, on the new version of Skype, put a thing where it puts the Skype, you know, the word Skype on the page. On this old one, you could just not run it at all, right? But now you just have a choice of where you want it on the screen, okay? And I looked for any way I could to do away with that. Hey, look who's calling, and believe it or not, he's going to be. Uh-oh, where is he? Where is he? Wait a minute, are we going to be able to get him? And Ray Renati just called too. Phil, are you there? Phil's having a hard time. Phil is in an airplane. Phil, you're breaking up like crazy. Oh, wait, there you go. Well, wait a minute. Oh, we lost him. We lost him. Okay. But that was Phil is in an airplane, and he said he was going to call tonight and try and deal with it. Are you there, Brian? Brian? Ludwig? Are you there, Brian? Are you there, Ray? Where is everybody? We're supposed to have sound on these people. Hello? Are you guys there at all? Brian, are you there? Huh. Let me see here. Is there anything that's not on? No. Everything seems to be on. Okay. Well, I don't know what's wrong with Brian, and I don't know what's wrong with Ray. Let's see if they can call back again. Okay, here comes Rob Alfano, and wait a minute. Okay, and there's Rob. Rob's
hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
And Ray, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, Ray is there.
I'm here.
Okay.
Now it's working. I always feel guilty when you're on because you're working out and I'm laying down. Don't feel bad. No, I should, because I went to my doctor today, and my doctor said you need some exercise.
Yeah.
You know what she suggested?
What? Oh, wait a minute. Hey, hold on a second. I haven't even put your pictures on. There we go.
Roll around on the bed. No, I have this Stairmaster downstairs, and I told her that I hate doing it, and she goes, I'm a gadget person. She goes, if I were you, I would get some VR glasses, and you can have a blast. There's all kinds of great games to get your heart rate going. You should do that. That's true. And I'm like, you know what? Can you prescribe that? And I can get it paid for by my medical? Yeah. For me, it's an addiction, so.
Well, it's
an addiction for me. It actually is my medicine. So I wish it was an addiction for me. This is what's an addiction for me: relaxing.
Yeah, yeah, and I lose weight just by not eating. So that's my
that
way.
Works.
That's my exercise. I don't know why didn't you? Did you hear me, Ray, when I was saying Ray before? Or? No.
Also, Brian was on there, but he's gone now.
Yeah, because and I said, you know, hello, Brian, and he didn't answer.
We couldn't
either.
hear you or see you.
Wow. Well, apparently that was a minor glitch, and we'll just take it as that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. He said he was going to call back.
Yeah. Let me see here. Brian, call us back. I don't know what his problem was. He couldn't even. Neither of you could get your picture or anything. And then all of a sudden, Rob came on, and then you came on, and everything's fine. So.
Yeah, I wanted Phil on tonight after the news today. It's too bad.
Well, he might call from the airplane. You know, he called me earlier. No, he called me earlier on my other line from the airplane to test it, and I got him okay. But apparently, there's a problem. Are you there, Brian? There's Brian.
There's going to be snapback because I have the feed on. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you yet. Oh, there we go. There's Brian. Okay, pretty simple.
Hey, Alex, you know that guillotine thing you were talking about?
Can't see you though, Alex.
What? You can't see me?
That guillotine. Oh,
you should.
I see.
Oh, there you go. I see you now.
Yeah. Okay. What guillotine thing?
Well, you were talking with Bubs. You were talking about the heads on the guillotine blinking and looking at the sky.
Yeah.
So Louis Pasteur, I remember he had his assistant before he got executed. See if he was blinking, and how he said he would blink like crazy until he couldn't stop after he had his head chopped off.
Well,
and he blinked like 18 times or something.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Awful way to do an experiment, you know.
I know.
So he just kept blinking. That's amazing. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Hello.
Good stuff to know.
Hello to Charles Wallace. By the way, now, folks, because we had to go back to an older version of Skype, we actually get the people's names up there. Okay, here comes Phil. Let's see if we can actually get him on the airplane. Hello, Phil. Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Phil? Wait a minute. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm not surprised it's choppy like that.
Well, you know, it's the Wi-Fi in airplanes, which...
You know, maybe when he called before, less people were using it, but it's a shared line.
It is on the Wi-Fi in airplanes. Oh, yeah. The more people that are using it. Hello, Phil, are you there? Nah, we're not gonna be able to get him. Phil, call us when you get to L.A. Call when you get to L.A. He has a layover in L.A., so we can then check him out then. Anyway, where was I? So okay, we had Pasteur got his guy. Was Pasteur around during the Revolution?
I'm pretty sure it was Pasteur, but maybe it was another scientist. I thought it was him, though.
It had to be another scientist. I think Pasteur was like beyond...
It was later, huh?
Yeah, it was later.
I have to go look it up. Some French scientist at the time that is famous. You'd recognize his name.
Yeah.
He had his assistant count the number of times he blinked, because he said he was going to kind of try to keep blinking afterwards, and he blinked a whole shitload of times.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 18 would be a shitload.
Yeah, I think it was 18, something like that.
Yeah.
I have to look it up.
Well, 18 seconds would be a hell load in terms of the hell you would experience knowing that you're now a detached head separated from your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'd feel anything because your spinal cord would be cut, but... Yeah.
Well, who knows? You know.
I know. Who knows?
Of course, I say the same thing about reincarnation being hell on earth, so...
There we go. There's Jeff Stein. Hello, Jeffrey. How are you this evening? Good. Well, now you said, Rob, that you wanted to talk to Phil because of what happened today. What happened today now that is getting to you? I mean, a lot of things. Every day something happens. So I just want to know what in particular you're referring to.
Rudy Giuliani's statements today. Did you hear them?
It was a statement he made, taking back a statement. He said no. He said, what did he say exactly? That it was collusion by the campaign.
I never said it was collusion. I never said
it wasn't collusion.
It wasn't collusion. I said it was Trump but I didn't say it was campaign wasn't colluding with the Russians.
Yeah. And now
that's what he said. He said, well, maybe the campaign did. Yeah, okay.
Well, who's the head of the campaign?
With that. They have tape. They have video of him actually saying.
Oh yeah, they played a ton of it. Even both him and Trump saying it.
Yeah.
Me or my campaign. Yeah. No collusion.
No collusion with my campaign. No collusion with my campaign. Yeah.
He's going to go down in flames.
You know what? You know what they're doing now? How they're referring to Rudy Giuliani? Have you noticed the difference in the way they are referring to him? They are now referring to him as Trump's TV lawyer.
That's funny because I always call him the bastard child of the Crypt Keeper and Skeletor.
Yeah.
And Cohen came out today he's saying at the direction of Donald Trump, that he paid to rig polls in Trump's favor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he met some guy at a Walmart and handed him a bag of cash or something like that to do it.
Did he say that?
Yeah, well, he said it was a check, but the guy says it was a bag of cash.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with Cohen. Is they're going to try and discredit him by saying, well, he's a liar and look at all horrible things he did and everything, So they're going to
think about it.
That's why Trump hired him.
But think about it. They're not going to just let you say all this stuff that's not corroboratable, right? If that's a word.
Corroborative. There's got to be what's the word? Corroborative.
Whatever, but I mean, they're just not going to. He could say whatever he wants, but they're only going to pay attention to what they can corroborate.
Right.
So you got to assume that they have some information that can corroborate this particular thing as well. So, now the news is getting tighter and tighter.
Yeah, but the news is getting tighter around a lot of things that maybe have nothing to do with the Mueller investigation. I mean, if Cohen wants to tell us what a sleazebag Trump was when it came to business, well, we already knew that.
Yeah, we did. But Rudy Giuliani basically said today that the campaign corroborated with or colluded with Russia. He basically said that.
Oh, in my defense.
Well, yeah. What he said is, I didn't say the campaign didn't collude. Well, the campaign is Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Apparently he's his TV lawyer. Well, I guess he can practice before Judge Judy, but that's about it.
I watched Fox News today to see how they report on this stuff, and it's very scary. Man,
don't you love? I've got those two channels, MSNBC and Fox, really near each other, and I sometimes go back and forth between them to see these two absolute differences in realities. Neither of which
not going to change the truth.
Yeah.
And all it's going to do is create a deeper divide. And when they do come down on Trump, it's going to cause violence and it's going to cause unrest. And that's the unfortunate part because, they're creating their own bubble and their own world. But the truth is still the truth.
Yeah, because if you ever watch Fox News and that's all you watch, you will believe that Trump is just getting the shaft.
Right. And look at Phil. I mean, I said it last night because he was saying that, there's this, if it's about Trump, what was that thing he said last night about 100% against Trump? And I said, you're 100% for Trump or whatever but I mean, he's buying into it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
And
well, he completely ignores all the when we bring up negative things or how he's not kept his word. Phil just ignores
he focuses on he's looking at the horizon, and the horizon is he has done what he said he was going to do, regardless.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. His ethics, his morals, his methodologies, his lack of moral compass doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter.
You talk about security threats. Nancy Pelosi was going to go to Afghanistan, and they never broadcast ahead of time when they're going to do that because that would be a security risk.
Right.
Donald Trump comes out and outs her about it.
I didn't even think of that.
That was a total asshole move.
But You know what? You're absolutely right. What, Vernon, right? Or,
you won't let me do my State of the Union address? Well, I'm not going to let you go to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know.
Melania flew to Mar-a-Lago today on a government plane. I saw it on the.
She went to Mar-a-Lago. Well, don't tell anybody because that's a dangerous place to be.
I wonder if they got paid.
Malaria can fly to hell for all I care.
She would have to fly on a government plane. I mean, you can't.
Oh,
his first lady can't fly.
No, but what I'm saying is he took the government plane away from Pelosi, but his wife gets it during a shutdown.
Yeah.
I mean, just total hypocrisy.
You know, here's a question I have. I've always had, like, when Trump was, like, out on the stump giving speeches to get Republicans elected, does the Republican Party pay for Air Force One in those cases? Because
I think the campaigns pay for that.
They do. I mean, in other words, if he runs for president again and he goes around the country giving speeches, he takes Air Force One. And by the way, let me designate the fact that Air Force One is any plane that the president is on.
Right.
Yep.
It could be a Piper Cub, and it would be Air Force One, because they have that designation. So when they're talking to a tower, the tower knows exactly what plane it is. Okay, but my question is he going to get paid? Is he going to get paid for that? Is he going to pay for that, or are we going to wind up paying for some of it?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer.
All presidents stump for other.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's the same.
Yeah, but who pays the tab on that? The American public or the campaign that he's helping? You know. Hey, look who's here. Jason is here, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Jason. How are you?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Good. I almost thought we wouldn't have a Gabnet here anymore, but luckily we found a workaround. And it looks good, too. That's the thing I really like about it. In fact, this is an old Skype. This Skype goes back to June of 1917, this version of Skype, okay? Mm-hmm. And it is better than the most recent version of Skype Classic that we were using.
Kidding aside, a lot of technology from yesteryear before I was born.
But
it's longer lasting and more durable.
I don't know how Microsoft managed to pull it off, but ever since they took over Skype, all right, it has each new version of it has gotten worse and worse, not better and better. I mean, there are a few things that are better. The picture is better. They've got the technology down a little better, but this is an old one, and the picture is terrific on everybody. All right? So I don't understand, and I really have no idea how they could do this, how they could go out of their way to make sure that they make things worse rather than better.
The old version is much more user-friendly.
Well, the old version is absolutely user-friendly, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Magno is joining us, too. So there we are, okay? All righty. Hello, Tony. Are you there? Tony, turn your camera on, would you?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. You always do that.
I do. I'm on the remote thing. Hold
on. Then we have to look at the stupid fucking Muppets, you know.
Don't. That's my Jim Henson.
Yeah, adjust your camera so that your face is a little more in the center of the picture. You're looking like Kilroy was here. No, you didn't move your camera. Move your camera. Are you on a portable? Are you on a laptop?
Yeah, my laptop.
Well, just move the. Yeah, there we go. See, that's the way you do it. By the way, we were asking this the other day. How are your teeth doing? You know, he went out. You had the worst mouth I've ever seen in my life. It was pretty bad. How is it now? Let's see. Smile a little bit. Look at that.
Just top one's here. I went to the dentist last week.
That's a movie star smile.
Yeah.
Now if he could do something with that hair.
Yeah, well,
next time comb your hair before you come on.
No, it's like a mop. I just came out of the shower. I was actually sleeping.
Who was that, Tony?
My nights I've been sleeping upstairs. My mother wakes me up.
You look so different.
But anyway, my friend Shecky was the one that convinced you to go to a dentist and get braces and get the teeth fixed at, like, I don't know, 48 years of age.
You almost look like a different person.
Huh?
Yeah.
I said I'm surprised that's Tony. He almost looks like a completely different person.
Actually, when I used to play basketball, I actually chipped his tooth when I used to play basketball at the park. I remember a guy elbowed me. This one got chipped. He stunk as a basketball
I
player.
thought the basketball hit you in the face, in which case, with the way your teeth were, you would have punctured a hole in the basketball. But anyway, yeah. But he used to have you. I don't think any one tooth was going in the same direction.
No, Alex, they were all like on strike. The bottom ones actually really look good.
Yeah.
Shecky saw my teeth. Says, "Oh my God, these are terrible teeth." I said.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had bad teeth.
Yeah.
I only had them in 3 years, but I'm taking a little long.
Yeah.
The bottom
I had
ones
bad teeth as well when I was born.
The top one's another year.
Okay, but
because it's this little tooth. You don't know what the hell's going on.
It's coming pretty well. Then maybe we can get you laid. Jason.
So it was so funny. I was watching Vice News the other day, and they were talking about Brexit, and it was a truck driver from England, and his teeth were so snaggletooth, and he's missing half his teeth, and they're all yellow. It looked like he had these like yellow fingers in his mouth. And I was like, "Holy shit! It's so true what they say about the English teeth."
What they should do with the British flag, as long as they're doing Brexit, they should build a new British flag, and instead of the what do we call that pattern they've got there?
Jack, something Union
Jack. It should be replaced with a pair of bad teeth, I think, on the flag.
Brexit may not happen.
No, why don't they just put it to another popular vote? Is there something that's stopping them from being able to do that?
Pride.
No, it has to be something
There's
legal.
Something else.
That would be the easiest way out for everybody.
Yeah.
They put it to another vote.
Careers that would put in jeopardy, though?
How many what?
Bureaucratic careers that would put in jeopardy, though? I mean, say if something like that happened here in stateside. Lot, as I call them, semen slurping, ladder climbing, sycophantic bureaucrats would have egg on their faces if this is something like that.
Wait a minute.
I don't think there would be any, because they could say, hey, look, the people decided they don't want to do it, so we're not going to do it. It wasn't me. I was there standing behind the people when they wanted to do it. Now they decided they don't want to do it, so I'm going to stand behind my people and represent my people and not do it. It'd be the easiest way out.
I'm not arguing with you, though. You have valid points. It's a good way to.
But that's what I'm saying. There has to be something there stopping them.
Wait a minute. I'm going to ask Brian something. Why every time you refer to a group of people, you always somewhere in there put in the admonition semen slurper? When in fact, by definition, you are a semen slurper.
That is correct. A literal one. No, I can't say I'm a literal one because it would make me physically ill. But I'm speaking metaphorically.
I'm trying to exercise, for God's sake.
Come on. Now, come on, Alex. You've been on this planet 50 years longer than I have. Surely you could have seen that I was making a metaphorical comparison.
Yes, I guess. But you always use the term like, that semen slurping, blah, blah, blah.
Because it sticks in your mind. It's the most vivid picture.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've always had a rather. I've often had a rather fond relationship with anyone who would slurp semen.
I don't.
Hey, Brian,
really
most of the women,
watching other people do it turns me on. But
I only had one girlfriend who wouldn't give.
I couldn't do it because it would make me sick.
I only had one girlfriend who wouldn't give blowjobs. And she said to me, and so I won't give blowjobs, but if you can find someone else who'll give you one, go right ahead. I won't feel jealous. So she was the only one that I didn't, there wasn't a semen slurper. But the rest of them were,
Look, well, if we're taking the conversation.
I had one that used to gargle Come on, you know.
It does turn. You know, if it turns them on to do that, it turns me on to see that they're happy.
Yeah.
As far as a, quid pro quo.
But you associate
me to do it.
You associate sperm slurping with being a troglodyte of some sort. You know.
Sorry.
You seem to associate it with low intelligence. Whenever you say it, you always apply it to people that are despicable.
Maybe, but maybe not so much stupid people, but just spineless, ass-kissing type people.
Okay, but as someone, what I'm saying is, as someone who has always been very fond of anyone that would slurp semen, I just want to defend them. That's all.
But you recall just a few seconds ago the reaction I got when I used that term. Damn near everyone on this panel, including you, laughed. So I achieved my end goal, didn't I?
Well, we were laughing because it was
only two people arguing about it are the only two people who've had their dick sucked by another man.
Wait a minute, hold it.
Which is more than can be said for you. Now, could it?
I've never had my
hate
dick
us because
sucked
you
by
ain't.
another man.
Well, then how do you know you're not gay, Jason?
That's right.
See, I mean, I know I'm not gay because I did get a blowjob from a guy once, and I didn't like it. Okay,
I can't breathe.
And it was. I told you before that what bothered me was the stubble. You know, I mean,
say that story on.
Hey, Alex, Brian's clean shaved.
What?
I said Brian's clean shaved.
Yeah, that beard you're rocking disqualifies you, doesn't it, Jason?
Yeah, it does. But hey, you got a nice, cute little baby face. Maybe Alex would like it.
Hey, listen, a lot of those things are way
from someone who sounds closeted here.
Way in my past now. I'm 79 years old. I'm too distinguished to get blowjobs. Anyway, what are we talking
with him,
about?
when it slurp his cum, it would just be a poof.
What a discussion we're having here.
We're gonna get a snowstorm tomorrow, man.
Wait a minute. Yeah, Tony's the only one that in the middle of discussing blowjobs can say we're going to get a hell of a snowstorm tomorrow.
We're supposed to get one here in Pittsburgh too.
When we're already having one here in Virginia.
Well, they don't know if we're going to get one here. It may go north.
It's going to go north.
It may not be north.
See, I think ours is south. We're getting a little dusting outside right now, and that's it.
I would prefer
Saturday's supposed to be the big one.
Well, tomorrow's my big fear day, because tomorrow's the day that I get the delivery of this $3,000 Mac Pro from eBay, and it's coming by FedEx. So who knows whether it will ever get here? You know,
you'll get it. You'll get FedEx
because I have to sign for it because it's a very expensive item. But it's funny. They said it was going to get here next Wednesday. That's when it said on their thing, and then I get this thing. It says, "Hey, it's it's right now." I can see everywhere that it is at any given moment. For instance, right now, I'll just redo this here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
I do the same thing when there's something I'm dying to get. I keep it open and I just keep updating it. I keep it in the update.
Yeah, detail view, and then I go down here, and where is it at the present time? It's in Keys Bay, New Jersey. Where is Keys Bay, New Jersey?
Oh, but I know it's right over the bridge, though, right?
Yeah, I guess it is.
New Jersey's big, so
yeah. But
just take an Uber over there and get it.
No, but it was in Tennessee several hours ago. So it's getting here. So I put a note downstairs saying I'm here. Let's make sure they ring the doorbell. Let's see. Okay. I'll have another cat fit tomorrow when I don't get it. This is a word. See, we don't have a doorman. The people and they've got apartments they're renting for like $7,000 a month.
Wow.
And they could afford to have a doorman 24/7. They have one that goes on at like 4 o'clock and is through at midnight. And he's not even there to open the door or take packages.
But how many lobbies does your complex have?
Only has one lobby. It has 4 lobbies in 4 different what we call buildings off of a courtyard. But it does have one office as you walk in through the gate. All right. So they should, you know, I mean, come on, there are people here paying $7,000 a month for apartments. You can't have somebody to
No, they
take
can't
packages?
afford it because then they got these old people who are paying nothing.
Hey, listen. It's not like I don't want to pay nothing. It's
You live
nice.
at the Taj Mahal.
But it's not like I don't want to pay nothing. But these people just keep delaying this case, and we're sitting here going, come on, get it over with. Let us know who we send a check to. And by the way, give us some of that money because we've been screwed. All right. But yeah, they you know, we would buy some semen slurpers, by the way, Brian.
It's catching on.
You know, and we're just sitting here watching this fight between these two parties going like it's a tennis match. And every time they're supposed to have another mediation hearing, it gets called off for 2 months because somebody decides they can't make it. And I'm going, don't the landlords want the rent off of this place? You know, don't they? Doesn't everybody want a solution to this thing? But apparently nobody does.
Right now they can write you off as a tax write-off.
Yeah,
as a loss of
I'm
income.
not paying taxes.
I guess they can. You know, but what can they write us off at? That's the question. You know, it's a really.
What can they do if you don't pay your taxes this year? If this shutdown drags over into and past April.
Well, that's the thing. You've already paid it through your employer's already paid it.
That I don't know.
It's a matter of getting your tax return back, and that actually technically is supposed to be illegal if the government is shut down. They can't do tax refunds.
They can't do tax refunds.
But they say they're going to.
So do you get to charge them interest?
Yeah, I hope so.
You know. I asked
especially I tax myself high throughout the year, so I get a nice tax return at the end of the year. So you know I'd be a little pissed, and I like to do my stuff a little early. But this year I'm being a little patient, hoping that something turns around. And
well, I'll tell you what happens. What happens, and it kind of bothers me, is that I pay taxes every year, and then all of a sudden my business manager says, "Oh, you owe $5,000 that you didn't pay," and I go, "For what?" Well, you know, there are those investments you've got, you know, your Vanguard account and your stuff from Sirius XM, and they all pay you dividends, and so you have to pay taxes on the dividends. All right, so I get the dividends, and I've got great dividends because there were some great. You remember how the market was going up and up and up? Yeah, well, now it's going down and down and down. And I said, okay, so now do I get some money back because I've taken a loss here? And he goes, no. And I'm going,
not unless you sell it.
It doesn't work.
Well, that was the thing he suggested, was selling it off. Okay, and then I can take the loss. Okay, and then he said, since it's low anyway, in another month or so, go back and buy it again.
Yes.
And that's the way you do it. But I just found that kind of like, you know, fuck you, you know. I mean, come on, government. And so there's this, I can't get my taxes? Well, then I should be able to charge you interest for not getting it to me, you know. But no, that's not the way the government works. Yes, I see Jason has his hand up.
So I heard you guys talking earlier about what the government shut down and stuff, but did you mention, because I turned it off for a minute, about the Nancy Pelosi's trip being canceled by Trump?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ray. Were you? Oh, you didn't have your hand up. You were switching the numbers on your cycle. Am I right about that, Ray? Ray's at the gym. Yeah, he works out for the rest of us. Don't you all feel you're losing a little weight? Don't you feel?
Sorry, I was having trouble with Skype. Yeah. No, I was trying to fix my volume.
I need to do that too.
Yeah, I'm gaining my my winter weight. I've gained like 2 pounds, so I'm going crazy. You know.
You still look a hell of a lot better than you did when you were in Sirius. I saw pictures of you when you were in your Sirius years.
Yes.
So, no.
I saw a video.
Kudos to you.
I saw a video of it, and I went, "Was I that fat?" You know, because look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me. I'm trying.
Wow.
You know,
yeah. Good for you, man.
Here's Svelte, man.
Huh?
It's all that bike riding.
No, it's not the bike riding. You know, this isn't as low as I was, but it is. You know, I'm doing okay. You know.
Did you do it
you're a lot
exclusively
taller than I
like
thought.
changing your diet, or did you have like stomach stapling or anything like that?
I did what some people call it. Some people call it the keto diet, but it's really a low carb diet. And keto diet simply means that you put your body in ketosis.
I thought you said the Cheeto diet.
Well, the Cheeto diet.
It's not working for that.
You know, the truth of the matter is, if you were to eat anything exclusively to anything else, you would wind up losing weight. And so you could eat nothing but Cheetos and lose weight, but I imagine you would probably have, I don't know, the skin color of Donald Trump.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Diet malnutrition.
Yeah, but they all went out. You know this? Who's this? That Jillian. Oh, she's a workout person. Jillian, whatever her name is. Everybody is like giving her a bad time because she said the keto diet is a bad diet, that it's bad for you, and people are like calling her every name in the book. They're yelling at her on Twitter, and I disagree with her. I say if you can lose weight on the keto diet and you weighed like I did 250 pounds and now I weigh 200 and well, what was I? I was 245, 250 pounds, and I lost close to 60 pounds. Is that what's worse, that or being on the keto diet? You know,
well, but that'd be the same thing if you weighed 250 pounds and then you got cancer and you went down to 150. What's worse?
Well, I lost that weight, and it wasn't due to cancer. Although I wanted people to think I did have cancer. You know,
but you do.
Because I would like maybe pass somebody on the street I worked for at Sirius, and they didn't talk to me, and they went back and said, "I think he's dying of cancer. You should see all the weight he lost." You know, But as I said,
you do have cancer, don't you?
Well, no, not I might have cancer, but as it was explained on the Kaminsky method, it's the good cancer. It's what do they say? There are three kinds: snail, something else, and rabbit. And you've got snail. If you get the snail, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill you.
It's the AOL cancer.
Yeah, you're going to die. What?
You got snail.
You got snail. Yeah, right.
You got escargot cancer.
So if I do have it, my doctor says it's the slow one, and he says I'll put you on some hormones, and you'll live to be 95. And
with some nice big titties.
No. I asked him about that. I asked him about that, and he said no, it doesn't really have many side effects. The big titties is you're thinking of estrogen. It's not estrogen they give you, which is a female hormone. They don't give you a female.
If you're in the fat guys, you can achieve.
They don't give you a female hormone. They give you something that goes against your testosterone. The reason I have a large amount of testosterone. That's why this. Okay. Yes, people are bald because they have high levels of testosterone, and that's what I've got. And so, and as he put it to me, he said, when you hit your age, which is really old, 60% of American men are going to get cancer by the time they're 80, prostate cancer. But it's not the same prostate cancer as when you've got an aggressive one at like 50 or at 60, like Phil had, and so. But as I say, I'm going to play it for everything I've got. I said this last night. If girlfriend says, "Can you take out the garbage?" I go, "Not right now. I've got cancer."
Touch the cancer.
Well, little Richard said to me once when I said, "Why didn't you show up for the interview?" He said, "I swear to you, I had a touch of the cancer."
Sounds like a flu bug.
And I went, apparently he hasn't gotten the concept of cancer. You know, there's no such thing as a touch of the cancer. But now I'm finding out that there may well be a version of that with prostate cancer called a touch of the cancer. So, you know, what have you.
Where is little Richard? We haven't seen him.
He's dead, isn't he?
Dead.
Yeah,
he's dead.
That's a good reason.
Do you know who isn't dead? Are you ready for this? Because I looked. No,
billions of people.
I looked this up the other day, and I said,
billions of people.
Did he die? Because this should be. You should be able to just go online, and there should be a site called "Did He Die?" and you could put in a name, and they go yes or no. Really?
Dead yet?
Yeah, there are death sites.
Well,
I used
to begin
use
with,
them as show prep.
To begin with, what's her name? Betty White is celebrating her 97th birthday today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the one that got me. I said, I wonder if this guy's dead. Oh, Kirk Douglas is like 102, 103.
He's 101. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Hugh, you remember Hugh Downs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still alive?
98.
Wow.
98.
Wow.
What do you do at 98?
Well, I don't know. You know, listen.
Well, you can tell us in a couple of years.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just live long enough to watch you drop dead. Okay, you punk.
Hey, I
work in Detroit. Might
woman.
not be too long.
Huh? What?
The other day, I picked up a woman, a 98-year-old woman in Uber, and she had 3 heavy sacks with her, and she opened the door herself and got in, and her voice sounded like it was in her 30s, and she gave me directions to her house because my GPS was screwing up, and this woman was 98 years old. I couldn't believe it. Blew my mind.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, totally blew my mind.
All I know, let me talk to Jeff a second here, because Jeff and I are the 2 oldest people here, and compared to me, he's a child. All right?
Thank you.
How old are you now, Jeff?
I'm 72 right now.
72.
72.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, a lot of the guys that I used to hang out as kids
are dead.
They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, look, I tell my friend Shecky, don't die on me because you're my last friend. I mean, you know.
That's friendship.
I mean, I had my friend Steve, who died a few years ago, and then my friend Bruce, who out of nowhere dropped dead, and then there's Shecky. So I'm literally I'm putting like bulletproof vests on him and everything. I don't want him.
Shecky your age?
No, Shecky is 64, I think. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
63, something like that. No, he's not my age, but I mean, but I find that all these people that I knew who are way younger than me, are dying.
Yeah,
you know.
My 2 brother-in-laws were much younger than me.
Yeah.
And incredibly great shape, athletic people.
Yeah.
Gone.
Wow.
They never smoked. They never drank.
Did you smoke?
Yes.
Well, listen, if tomorrow they had to remove this prostate, which I asked my doctor, I said, am I going to lose this prostate at some point? And he said, no, absolutely not. He says, that's not the way we treat what you have, okay? But I said, I thought to myself, if they had to take that prostate, I got good mileage out of it. Okay,
you know, it doesn't know you nothing, huh?
Huh?
It doesn't know you anything.
If it wants to get cancer, for all the fun I had with it, go right ahead.
They might frame it, Alex, and put it in a museum.
No, I mean I had, I had a lot of fun with that prostate, and since I don't really need it as much any longer. Go ahead, you know.
Timing's not so bad, right?
Could you do me a favor? Would you bury it somewhere, and can we hold a service? You know, because really,
a lot of people. Oh my! We could sell tickets Let's do it, Alex.
We sell tickets.
Fundraiser.
Yeah. I mean, the gallons of scum, Brian, that has come out of that thing in my lifetime is an amazing output. I mean, it's been a very well. Let's see here. The prostate gives you the prostatic fluid, but it doesn't give you the sperm.
Semen.
The sperm comes out of your testicles. Okay, yeah. So don't take my testicles. So there's just something about it that, and they do that. By the way, they do that sometimes for extreme cancer. They take your testicles to stop the cancer from spreading. Yes,
Lance
Jason.
Armstrong.
Yeah,
I heard you can get $30,000 if you sell a testicle.
Really?
Yeah.
Not in the United States.
So that gives some credence to the term. No, wait a minute.
On eBay, you can
that gives credence to the old saying, "I'd give my left nut for."
Right. I was thinking about it. I was like, shit, mine are already basically cut off. They're just sitting there. Why not sell them?
By the way, as we've been talking about this, the number of people watching has gone.
2 man-berries, just one won't be real.
The amount of people watching has gone down since we've been talking about this. So we could find another topic that would probably make them happy. Yes, Jeff.
Actually, I'd sell both of them because then maybe my knees wouldn't hurt as much anymore.
I guess that means those people have no appetite for manberries then.
Yeah.
Alex, I saw you on LinkedIn today.
On what?
LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah, I saw your resume now.
Yeah.
Is he trying to get a job for a Walmart greeter?
No, I didn't know. Oh, shut up. Last night I was reading stuff they sent me, like it's available, like, podcast coordinator for Stitcher. Yeah. And then I thought about writing them and saying, my qualifications, I invented the fucking thing, but anyway, so you saw I don't know, but I put that up a long time ago, and I don't think I put it up because I expected to get a job. I just put it up because I kept getting nudged by LinkedIn to sign up. I don't even know what LinkedIn is really for. Does anybody get work out of LinkedIn?
Absolutely. I have gotten so many job offers from LinkedIn, you can't imagine.
Really?
You know what happens? All of a sudden somebody will friend me, and then a day later they'll contact me. Are you looking for work? We're looking for this. We're looking for that. I mean, it is amazing. Plus, I've had people tell me that somebody didn't get a job because their LinkedIn profile sucked. So I had a friend who was a storage engineer, and he was looking for a job. So I'm talking to this guy who's looking to hire somebody. And he goes, man, let me tell you something. Your friend, I know he's pretty good, but his LinkedIn profile is a lot of misspellings. He goes, can't hire the guy. Can't hire the guy.
Oh, well, let's be careful about that. I just have never taken it seriously because I figure nobody's ever going to hire me again anyway,
Well, the other part is you can actually respond to job opportunities.
Really?
And use LinkedIn and say, I'm available and I'm interested in this job.
Yeah. Where's LinkedIn located?
No idea.
Because they could steal
Mountain View.
Mountain View. California could take on the motto and steal it from Illinois and call themselves the land of LinkedIn.
We're right next to Google and Microsoft.
Oh, really? Oh, they all hang out together. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. The building I used to work in, that used to be Live 105 when I first went to Live 105, and then they moved to somewhere else, was called the Furniture Mart. It is now Twitter in San Francisco. So I don't know if that made everybody feel, oh, wow, I'm amazed. We don't often find this out, but Netflix, which, by the way, is raising their prices. You've heard about this. Mine's going up to $16 a month. I have the $14 a month job where I get 4K, and you can also watch it on 5 different machines or something at the same time. Where you can only do 2 under the normal subscription. But they're raising mine $2, so and they're raising the bottom tier $1, which is considered quite a raise. Oddly enough, it's the biggest raise that any company's taken. And I guess they go, well, fuck it. We've looked at the statistics, and nobody's going to drop us because nobody wants to not have Netflix.
Yeah.
Right?
I was thinking about dropping my DVD subscription.
Well, I think maybe it's time.
I was thinking about dropping Netflix.
You were thinking of dropping it? Why?
Well, because it's getting too expensive, and I could do with Amazon Prime. And
Amazon Prime, I think, sucks.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Mrs. Maisel's a pretty goddamn good show.
All that shit can be downloaded for free and torrented.
And
yeah, so you can walk into a store and steal a DVD for the same thing too. So
yeah,
but after a while, it gets a little bit greedy.
Does it really?
After a while,
$15 a month for a subscription.
Well, it went up
15 for this and 15 for that.
Last year, I think it went up $1, didn't it, or something like that? And then now it's going up $2.
Doubled in price in a couple of years. It was $7.99.
Yeah, but it's not. The $7.99 is now somewhere going to be around 10 or something like that. But if you want if you want to get 4K, which most people
we're getting 4Q.
4Q.
4Q. Hey, we're getting back to a discussion. I was listening to the last show I listened to of yours. You guys were talking about how you can't even really see the 4K, and you're talking about the 8K. And I was thinking, you know what? I work in Detroit. The only thing I shoot in is AK.
AK.
Speaking of Detroit, did you hear that whole thing that's going on inside one of the GM plants?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in Ohio or something like that.
Oh, that's right. That's
nooses?
in Ohio. Yeah, the nooses and the whites only written on the bathrooms.
That's just dumb. Racism goes on all the time. People are making a big ass fucking deal about it.
But they're hanging. I mean, there's pictures of it here. They're hanging nooses, and they've got. I mean, how do you get away with that? Yeah,
because they're probably doing it during off hours when people aren't around to watch.
Let me bring something up here.
Assholes.
Let me bring something up here that occurred to me today, and since we actually have a black person here, although when I think about it, I had to think about it for a second because but there's Charlie, right? At least he's dark. Maybe he just was out in the sun a lot. I don't know, but anyway,
he claims he's black.
Do you remember? You remember NBC got rid of what's her name, Megyn
Kelly.
Yeah. Because she did a whole thing about saying, well, I didn't see anything wrong with blackface. Which, I don't know, is maybe a stupid remark. It may not be a stupid remark. I mean, whatever. They just wanted to get rid of her because she was a cunt. All right?
Yeah, and no ratings.
And no ratings, and they had buyer's remorse, and this was the excuse. All right.
Yeah.
So what are they have to put something in that hour. It's the hour that comes right after the Today Show, and they call it now the third hour of the Today Show.
Yeah.
And I tuned it in. I hadn't seen it. I tuned it in yesterday, and I look at it, and I go, what's wrong with this picture? And I looked at it, and I said, for all the stuff that happened with Megyn Kelly, this show has no diversity. Because everybody on the show was black. All the hosts on that show are black. It's Al Roker. It's the guy who's on MSNBC, who's does a show over there. I'm trying to remember his name now. And some woman. And 3 black people are the hosts of that show. And I'm going, wait a minute. Can you call this diversity?
Hey, what about all those years when there were nothing but white faces?
Well, no, I don't call it diversity. I call it BET. I mean, I just wonder why. And when I say no diversity, okay, so don't put a white person in there. How about a Filipino? How about an Asian? How about, any one of a number of different races that exist on this planet?
Hey, what about a Native American?
What about a Native? Exactly. Or a Mexican. But no, it's all,
same thing.
Every one of them are black. And I'm going, is this how you combat Megyn Kelly? Is this your way, your liberal way of solving the problem? You know,
the pendulum swung.
They put a day.
I mean, am I wrong, Charlie? Tell me
you're right.
Tell me I'm full of shit. You know. But I just, if you're looking for diversity,
they just overcorrected.
Well, I just think that when we talk about diversity, we only think in, okay, go get the black guy. You know, diversity is a blending. You know, and they're granted, it's nice that there are a lot more black faces on television. That television is, but I don't know how has it gotten that integrated. You know, when you watch TV, Charlie, do you go? Are you amazed when you go, "Hey, there's a black guy on that show"? Because in the old days, black families used to call all the other members of the family, "Look who's on TV, one of us." They used to do that. You know. But anyway, so the reason I mentioned Netflix, all right, is they never used to tell us who watches what. You know, they were very quiet and close to the vest about it. Well, finally, some numbers have come out, all right, and they are listing the top shows on Netflix right now.
Bird Brain.
No, the show You and Sex Education are on track to be viewed by more than 40 million Netflix accounts in their first month on the streaming service. Wow. Do you realize that if you get on Netflix and you've got a show people want to watch, you're going to get more of a viewership than any of the networks could possibly get you? Isn't that amazing?
That's because they promote that when you turn on Netflix. Like you cannot avoid Gray Box. Like, I don't want to watch that. I don't care about it. It looks dumb.
What?
But like every single time I log in, I see sex. Now it's Sex Education. It's like constantly.
Which show is that again? The one with what's her name? Right, Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
That's Bird Box.
I love how people are doing the Bird Box challenge or whatever and driving their car blindfolded.
Yeah,
Darwinism.
Yeah, Bree,
Darwin Award.
Bree,
an argument against libertarian
YouTube
government
now blocking that. Thank goodness.
Bree, you subscribe in Dubai to Netflix, right?
Right.
Yeah. And do you get anything there we don't get? Well, you get. I'm sure you get Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah,
because that's a Netflix original.
You know, Alex, what's funny is every time it seems I really want to specifically watch something, Netflix doesn't have it. It's like I have to always watch, what is available through them, and there's definitely enough there for me to find something. But like, I want to watch Galaxy Quest.
Yeah,
I love that movie, and I saw a clip recently, and so I go on Netflix and I try to watch it, and I can't. It's not there.
I find the exact same issue as you do. Every time I search for something that I really want to watch, it's never there.
But do you find also there's way too much stuff on Netflix?
Yeah, Alex, that's what I said yesterday. They keep raising their rates, and it's like,
well, they keep raising.
Just stop making all the original content. I can't watch all of it.
Half of it is in a foreign language anyway, because it's stuff they make for other countries. But I mean.
Wasn't it Netflix that just got in trouble by was it Saudi Arabia for having something against the prince or something?
Yeah.
A comedy show. It was a stand-up comedy thing.
I don't know if you watched the Lilyhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that one? I don't know if you guys also feel this way. The most recent one I'm watching is called Titans, which is basically about Robin.
That's on in America. That's on DC on the DC app. You subscribe to it for $6.95 a month, and I get it, and it is that Titans is maybe one of the best superhero shows ever done.
Well, now how far have you watched?
I watched all 10 episodes, all 11 episodes.
Okay, because see, I'm on the one where she, blows up the train, the fire, because she doesn't want to get caught, and that to me, and then they introduce Wonder Girl. Oh, it sort of has jumped the shark for me in that episode, because I don't believe that Robin would have let them go to Ohio.
Okay, well let's explain. Let's explain it for a second, because most of these people have never seen this. No. Titans is Robin, the boy wonder, has left Batman because he doesn't like the way Batman has turned into this killing machine, the Dark Knight, and he doesn't want to be like that, although he is like that. Yeah. And he meets up with these other people, and it was a comic book in the DC universe, right, Tony? You should know that.
Yeah, actually, in the 1980s, I used to run to the store. That was by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. I used to read every issue of that. That was like my favorite title.
Yeah.
They were that good, yeah. Wolfman wrote great stories.
Oh, speaking of which, I wanted to watch Watchmen. They don't have that on there.
Well, Watchmen hasn't. Wait a minute, Watchmen hasn't started yet. It's going to be on HBO, but it hasn't started.
No, I mean
yet.
the movie.
Oh,
the movie.
The series is
they're
coming.
weak on movies. I don't think they can get the rights for the streaming on the movies. That's the problem.
That's why I keep the DVD subscription. That's where I get all my movies.
Yeah, I still have my old movies too, Charlie. I like to watch the old movies. Sometimes I pop them off my shelf.
You know, Netflix should really start a separate service in which they make a deal with all the people that they rent their DVDs to just be able to have people go online and be able to rent so many pictures. In other words, just movies only. That's it, you know, nothing else.
Yeah.
But what I find on Netflix, it's difficult, is watching all that shit or finding it. It gets buried. You know, I had a show I was watching, and all of a sudden I want to go back to it, and I can't find it. I got to go into the search engine to find it.
Yep. Yeah, Alex, and don't you find that, like, all the shows they have, they're all somewhat similar named. They're all kind of like generic at a certain point. There's just too many of them. Yeah. And they're recommending all these different ones. And I watch like 2 or 3 episodes, and they're good to start. And then by the 3rd or 4th, it's like chewing gum. They lose their flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. And you know what's worse than trying to find something is Hulu. Hulu, you just can't find anything.
I may have to cancel Hulu.
TV shows.
What did you say, Tony?
Now that you said that, I may have to cancel Hulu because I don't watch it. It's very
I'll tell you, I love Hulu. I subscribe to the non-commercial service where all there aren't any commercials, and I find it's great for watching a lot of the network stuff after the fact. You know, and of course things like *Handmaid's Tale*, which has done very well for them, and a couple of other. Really, I like Hulu. I think it's fine. But to find something on Hulu, again, I got to go into the search engine, you know?
Yeah, you're right. That I don't like the way it's designed. Like,
yeah.
See, I don't like how Amazon, there's something like a movie on there. Maybe I want to rent it. Only thing I have to click on is how to rent. And it doesn't really tell me how to fuck rent anything on there.
Yeah.
You know, where do I go to do something where I have to pay for something?
You know, it's actually easy to rent movies on YouTube.
Yes.
I think I rented out a documentary the other night, Alex,
yeah.
on health issues, and you just rent it for $2.99. You get it for 48 hours, and it's so user friendly. It's just a click, and it's right there.
Really?
Yeah, YouTube actually really is.
And TV shows too.
And TV shows, yeah. And I just, you know, I actually think Google's got it going together a little bit. They should probably open it up a little more. But trying, I think they have a right foundation. It looks like.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that you pay so much to your cable company for your cable service and blah 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 and so on and so forth, and you think that all this is going to be cheaper. Because this one's only $6.95, and this one's only $7.95, and this one is this, and this one is that, and then maybe you got the service where you get all the local shows and everything, and that's another $40 a month. Before you're through, you're paying more money than you would have paid the cable company for the same amount of service.
I will say this about that. You may be right, but I will say this, that you're probably paying for what you will watch as opposed to 900 channels where you know, shopping channels and all the crap that you never watch.
Bree had his hand up, and then Ray.
The kid next door is playing basketball. At which point do I get to go over and strangle him?
You have our permission to do it now, but point your camera out the window so we can see you do it.
No, there's two kids next door, and they will skateboard, play basketball, and like I've talked to the parents. They have a maid.
Where? This is Dubai. Where
inside the building?
This is Dubai. When are they going to get old fashioned and just ride a camel?
Well, you know, the quiet hours are 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So now it's 8:30. So technically,
well, then stop bitching, old man.
Just
get off
so
my damn lawn.
It's like I don't have, you know, a 4 or 5 year olds anymore, and yet I have to live through that again. You know?
Yeah,
well, that's apartment living.
Yep. That's apartment living. Well,
they've gone through 5 maids over there, so it's like the first maid or 2, we were able to stop them in the playground and say, hey, you know, tell little Johnny not to, you know, ride a skateboard inside. But now they're on like number 5, and I heard it was because the first 2 were too good looking, and the wife was afraid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Remember, Bree, as I've said before in a previous iteration of this program, it's Jimmy Jr. John Schlong and Cantalina Tina.
Not as good as Sammy slurping suckers, whatever.
Well, that's what I refer to as children that annoy me.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Jr., John Schlong, and Cantalina Tina.
Here is a story that I am so happy about. I can't begin to tell you how just enamored I am of this story. Of all the people on TV that I can't stand, it's a guy by the name of Chris Hansen. Do you know who this guy is?
Yes.
And I heard what happened.
The guy from Dateline, right?
To Catch a Predator.
Catch a Predator, right?
Oh, yeah. $13,000 bad check.
I'm wondering how many of those people ever got convicted of anything, because, quite frankly, the way they went about it was not exactly legal. You know? It was called entrapment, I think, you know. So anyway, because come on over. Oh, there's a young girl here, and she wants candy from you, and the guy shows up.
Yeah, but they were fun to watch. I used to love watching that.
Well, sure, but didn't you feel uncomfortable about the legality of it all? I mean, it was just pure utter entrapment.
Reality TV. I just looked at it as reality TV.
Well,
Alex.
Yes. Brian.
I was just going to say, I remember when that was real popular, I was still in college, and we had a debate about this in my house at the time as to whether or not it was entrapment. I was in alignment with my father's opinion that it was a form of entrapment, and I had a law class that I took as part of a requisite for my major, which was in communications, and I asked the professor if he agreed that it was entrapment, and his argument, if I recall correctly, was because there's a camera involved and because it's being broadcasted, it's not.
That's a weird argument. Why does that even matter? They still went through that whole stuff you didn't see on television, which is, you know, the whole relationship building and the chatting online and all that. The only thing you saw on camera was the final stage of it. So it seems odd to me that's an odd. I don't see how that argument works.
Yeah.
And the person you're chatting with was an adult, you know, and the person on who's the guilty party could easily just say, "Hey, I knew it was an adult. I was just playing along, and it was just acting out a fantasy." You know.
If I remember right, they have different state laws, so each state had a different way you had to do it, so it wasn't entrapment.
Yeah. I have two things to ask. Number one, I have to ask Ray, where are you sitting? Are you still in the gym, but you're in the relaxing area?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Bree, what was that you were holding up? Netflix says its biggest threat is Fortnite.
Yeah. Was that
playing video games.
I hate that fucking game. Don't get me started on that fucking game.
Okay, because somewhere along the line, scum slurping will come into the vernacular.
Oh, there's some breaking news on the screen at CNN from BuzzFeed.
Mm-hmm.
President Trump directed his attorney to lie to Congress about the Moscow Tower project.
Nothing matters anymore, you know.
Oh boy! I thought BuzzFeed. Wait a minute. Where did I lose the thread of the story? But I thought BuzzFeed was out of business.
I guess
you
not.
know the thing that's funny is that so many people are worrying about how Trump would bankrupt America and destroy the government and blah 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 blah. Well, I know maybe it might be a far reach, but the government's shut down.
Yeah.
And then all this shit's going on right now.
Didn't BuzzFeed get sued out of existence? Didn't
we just don't know it yet.
Didn't BuzzFeed get sued out of existence, if I remember correctly? Courtesy of
Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan, yeah. I don't know.
Someone else probably bought the
State
name.
of the Union strong?
Could be, yeah.
Anyway, can't tell. There might not be a State of the Union.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. When you're talking about shows that I kind of like that were like that, it was what do you call it? The Cheaters. I love Cheaters. Anybody watch Cheaters?
I don't think I ever saw that.
Nobody watched Cheaters.
I like that better than How to Catch a
Look
Predator.
what we've got here, and he's made it into a full house, actually.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Where are you, Phil? You're at the Los Angeles airport, right?
Yeah, I'm at the Admirals Club in L.A. Airport.
Oh, are you trying to impress us?
No, but I'm sitting in a little booth where there's like a computer, but I'm using my phone.
Hey, if you're at the Admirals Club, you should have said ahoy.
Why? Do you belong to the Admirals Club?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how much?
I get it with my credit card.
You get? Oh, you mean it came with your credit card?
Yeah.
In other
I
words,
have a credit card that gives me that kind of thing too.
Oh, okay. I give one that lets me use the toilets at the airport. So,
Yeah.
Maybe I need to look into a better card or something like that,
Yeah.
But,
did you tip your TSA agent?
Tip?
Oh, did you have to go? You take your shoes off?
Give them some food stamps or anything?
Oh, by the way,
I had TSA pre.
By the way, just a little bit of news. One of the nice things about being over the age of 75, I don't have to take my shoes off anymore.
Why?
Because I'm 79.
They don't want to look at
right,
his
Jeff?
They don't think you're a threat?
What?
They don't think you're
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Jeff, what?
How old do you have to be to not take your shoes off?
I think 75.
Or pay $85.
Yeah, that for that quick pass or whatever thing. You've got that, right, Phil?
Yeah, the TSA pre.
Yeah.
Yeah, the global traveler or something.
And global, yeah.
So you don't have to take your shoes off, Phil?
I had that, but I don't know if I lost it for some reason.
Yeah.
Last three times I went through the airport, they pulled me aside and said, "You don't have to go through it."
Oh, that's good.
Well, anyway, I didn't get back to Chris Hansen.
Oh yeah,
he bounced a check.
Well, he's run into problems. Continues to run into problems. TMZ reports that Hansen is being evicted from his Manhattan home.
Oh boy!
According to legal docs, the former host of To Catch a Predator last paid rent in August of 2018 and was $400 short, and stopped sending checks altogether after that. So the owner of the pad went to court and filed paperwork to have Chris evicted. No, I didn't refuse to pay the rent. I have no contract with anybody to pay the rent. I want a contract.
Is that show based in L.A. and maybe he's just not using that apartment?
No, it's Manhattan. But anyway, he owes $400 for August and $3,600 for September. And the judge has said, "Get out of here." But he has also been arrested previously in connection with what is it? No, it was something else.
Phil, you're kind of loud.
But it doesn't say here. But anyway, I was so happy to see him in trouble.
Let's see. Let me figure out how to mute it.
Well, it's okay. It's not that noisy in the Ambassador Club or Admiral's Club or whatever.
There's nobody in it, it looks like.
You know, you were talking about.
It sounds like the Admiral's Club should be associated with Scientology. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It would have been the General's Club, but it's a different airline.
Now, here's one for you. Reality television personality who's had her share of run-ins with the law has just had another one. The Blast reports that Alexa Curtin, I never heard of her, known for her appearances on The Real Housewives of Orange County, started off 2019 by getting arrested once again for drug possession. According to court records, the 26-year-old Curtin was arrested on January 5th for possession of Xanax and other drug paraphernalia. Is having Xanax against the law?
If you don't have a prescription.
Well, but who says they didn't have a prescription? You know?
Well, it wouldn't be against the law if you had one.
The reality star was busted by the Irvine PD for possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. Oh, boy. Well,
hey, did you see that, was it the Prince, whatever his name is, the Queen's husband, rolled his freaking car?
Oh, yeah, Philip. Prince Philip.
97 years old.
Well, I said to myself, I'm sorry. I hate
and he was okay. He walked away.
Didn't hurt himself. The other person in the other car got hurt, though.
Yeah, the other people he hit.
Boy, are they going to get sued. Anyway, no, the thing that hit me, and I don't want to say that, I mean, I'm 79, but I can't imagine driving at 97. You know?
I even hear you talk about driving up to Vermont or something, but you haven't driven in years, and I'm sorry, you are older. You shouldn't drive anymore because you don't have the experience.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry. If you drove every day, that would be a different story. But when's the last time you drove a car?
Last time I drove a car was about 3 years ago.
Okay, so 3 years ago, and you're 79 years old. I'm sorry, you shouldn't do it anymore.
I probably still can drive. You know, I'm not worried about that. I would love to not have to drive out of this city. I'd like to be out like in the suburbs and then rent a car and then try it there just to get my driving legs back. But
because I even know from being in one time I took a vacation in Mexico. And I was staying at a resort, and we had golf carts. And so I was driving a golf cart for a week.
Yeah.
And I came back home, and I jumped into my car, and holy shit, was it I felt like I should be driving the golf cart, but it was my car, and there was a learning curve.
I'm not as worried about that. I think about 5 minutes behind the wheel of a car, and I'll be fine. Listen, I'm from California. And we drove everywhere.
I'm from the Motor City.
We drove to the drugstore, the grocery store, what have you. Is Phil dead or is he frozen?
I think he's
frozen.
Phil is frozen. How come he always freezes in the most unflattering position?
It's like he plans it or something. Maybe.
But
can I say something?
Yes.
In Alex's defense, please.
Yes, go ahead,
Sure.
Ray.
Yes. Okay, I'm in my car now. I need to say, I've met you recently that you can drive. Alex, you talk about like how you're old and everything, but you're like totally, like completely able to drive. You don't at all seem like anybody who shouldn't be driving.
Yeah,
you can be mentally there. You can be physically fit.
No, he's physically there too.
But I'm not arguing that at all. It's
okay.
It is. No, it's not about, hey, he's senile, he can't see, blah, 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 or whatever, this or that. It's just, you get to an older age, your reflexes are going to change.
Yeah,
you're not going to see his reflexes. You're not going to see all this and that. And like I said, even just...
I understand that, but, you've got to remember that I drove so much in my lifetime that I don't know that there would necessarily be a problem.
Half of my job is driving, and that's why I'm telling you. Even just taking a vacation one time in Mexico, where I was driving a golf cart for a week versus a car, and then I got back into my car after leaving the airport, and it's just like, holy shit, this is
Well, what do I do if I go to Europe and I want to drive around? I can't anymore. Is that what you're telling me? An Uber? Hey, Uber, I'm in Paris. I wanted to have you drive me to Madrid.
Uber is all over, or you take the train.
I'm going to get to go to Germany soon.
Really?
My wife's niece is marrying a German, and we're going to go visit. I'm really looking forward to that. I've never been there.
Really?
Yeah.
Any relation to Hitler?
Third cousin on his mother's side.
I see. Okay.
Good term.
Yeah.
They don't look anything alike except for the mustache.
Now here's what we can do. We can say terrible things about Donald Trump, and then Phil will try and argue with us, but he doesn't want to talk too loudly because the people around him might jump him and kill him.
Do that.
That's perfect.
Okay, let's trash Trump.
You don't have to. Watch the news.
Oh, I think he's going to wind up in jail. Don't you guys think he's going to wind up in jail?
He's going down hard.
I hope so.
Can I give you my assessment?
Yeah.
No.
You guys, Giuliani is like a dog, and Giuliani lifted Trump's tail, and you guys can't wait to bend down, and there's nothing there. And when the guy is
Phil, did you hear what he said today, Giuliani, or you've been too busy?
No, I heard it.
You heard it, okay.
It was Trump colluding.
He admitted that the campaign colluded with the Russians.
Here we go.
And he's his lawyer. Isn't he supposed to not be getting him in trouble?
Yeah. You would think that goes with the job.
What's he working for?
Huh?
You're not
He
supposed
won't
to
be in
say.
court one day, not even one day.
He's gonna get fired.
All you guys can do is sniff the back of the tail.
But that's okay with you, that they colluded, that the campaign colluded with the Russians. That's okay with you.
Yes.
Wow.
Nixon didn't spend any time in jail either.
If a Democrat would have done that, oh my God!
They did. They colluded with the FBI.
Hillary's not being.
Please.
Hillary's not being having the FBI look at her to see if she was working for the Russians.
That's because the FBI.
Also, you were talking last night about him living up to his promises. I don't see him having Hillary arrested.
I think if we found out that Trump killed that journalist and it wasn't the prince,
it
would be okay with Phil.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, here's the thing, and I say this. Yes, Jason. Yes.
I was just that's a little kind of a joke, a side note. I'm doing a project right now where I'm putting in fiber optics into a building that they're reconstructing, making it into an apartment complex.
Yeah.
And there's some Mexicans there that are working, and they're doing the framing, put up shit. And I was like, look, Trump is having the Mexicans build the wall.
and he won't pay them. See.
You saying he won't pay them?
If the Mexicans build the wall, he just doesn't have to pay them, and therefore
just like he's done on his other construction projects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Phil, incidentally, earlier tonight actually called me by Skype from the airplane, and I guess when you tried earlier from the airplane, it was this. You know what? The reason is there's probably too many people using the Wi-Fi at the same time.
I
you can't
paid
stream
$16 to get a satellite Wi-Fi so that I could email and text and do all of those things, which covered me for the whole flight, but it didn't work the whole flight.
What do you mean by satellite Wi-Fi?
Put a little dish on this thing.
It's a Make America Great hat with a big satellite dish on the top.
No, it's a little dog with his tail up and a bunch of Democrats sniffing at the back. But the plane had Wi-Fi that you could connect to the internet.
Yeah, but the problem with those, it's shared Wi-Fi, so the more people that connect to it, the slower it gets.
All Wi-Fi is shared Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but when you're on a plane.
Well, no, it's a satellite Wi-Fi. It's a satellite connection so that they can pick up the internet. But then once it gets into the plane, there's a plane Wi-Fi, and that Wi-Fi, if too many people are using it at the same time, you're going to get less and less of a signal.
I took a bus to New York from Washington D.C. once, and they said they had Wi-Fi on board, and they had Wi-Fi, but it was great until everybody turned their devices on, and then it was like dial-up.
I don't think they have an idea what Wi-Fi is exactly, the airlines.
I hate it right now when I go to install internet at somebody's house and they say, the Wi-Fi installer's here.
That's the dial-up installer.
Yeah, that's how everybody calls it internet anymore. Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Yours are right.
Yeah. You know what I use in my house? I use the wires in the house for the internet, and I just have these plug things. It works great.
Really?
I
just laid some different wire going into the guest room, and now I'm getting the full-on FiOS power.
Did you lay down some Cat 6?
Huh? Yeah, I did.
I can't do it because I have no subfloor. I live in an Eichler. There's no subfloor anywhere.
Well, I just do it along.
Staple it to your baseboard.
I staple it to the baseboard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. My wife would hate it, though. You know.
Yeah.
Paint it white or whatever color the.
Yeah.
And they got some pretty decorative moldings. You know, they got some pretty decorative moldings. That if you look for it, you'll find. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got a baseboard that's hollowed out in the back, and that's the stuff in that.
That's what I'm talking about. I've seen that stuff. I want to use it in my theater downstairs.
That's so ghetto.
Anyway, we didn't talk that much about Trump tonight. That's pretty good.
I wasn't there.
It's always tomorrow on this show.
Well,
who knows what the fuck else?
Well, you know what I felt is there's just too much of Trump on the air. You know, I mean, come on, this guy is just monopolizing the news cycle, and the networks are allowing him to do it. You know, they're co-conspirators in all of this.
All Trump all the time.
Yeah. What?
Did you get the message that Maxine Waters was on my flight?
Yes, I mentioned that to girlfriend, and I said no. I said that she was two rows ahead of you, and he was stuck on this plane with Maxine Waters, which I think is God getting even with Phil Meyer.
I don't know who that is.
There was three other
congresswomen
there.
Real liberal congresswoman from California. Huh?
Okay.
Did she order a lot of bananas?
No, she said something about Impeach 45.
Yeah. Did you go over and tell her how much you liked her work?
Didn't say a word.
Oh,
you didn't have your MAGA hat on?
No.
Did you want to say something?
Yes. But I thought that it's better off not being in the news.
You could have got some publicity for Carpet One.
Great publicity. They would have grabbed me at the gate.
Yeah, well, I think we're kind of through here. Boy, this new Skype I'm using, or this old Skype I'm using, is better than the latest one I was using. This is terrific. And it's been solid, and so have you guys. It's been a good night. We finish off with a full house. Ray Renati, thank you so much for being with us. Brian Ludwig, you too. Phil Meyer, enjoy the rest of your trip. Jason,
be safe.
Always nice when the wife lets you out. Bree, always good to hear from you from Dubai. Rob Alfano, needless to say, he is actually part of the Gabnet family. Charlie Wallace, great having you back. It's just wonderful. It feels like old times. Jeff Stein, of course, you're terrific. And Tony Magno, you're great. Hey, you know what I'd like you all to do? Why don't you all wave goodbye to the audience out there? And then we'll fade to me doing the same thing. Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow night for our final show of the week. Boy, I've really been having a good time with this. And I hope you have too, as well. I actually am having a good hope that Gabnet works. Anyway, hey, that's it for tonight. We'll be back again, of course, tomorrow night. Next, Jack Bishop. He's going to be here with Intersection. That will be followed tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern Time by Damian Chaplin and the Exchange, and then at 10 o'clock I'll be back here. Same time, same station in life in the meantime. As always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.